Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Watcher of Realms video. Guys, today I'm going to call out my ride or dies. My champions that I just use again and again in different content. And I'm going to take you through the rares, the epics, and the legendaries. The ones which carry my account and have done basically for the last, I don't know, however long I've been playing. In fact, let's go and check it out. How long have I been playing this game for now? By the way, 2-tier Nightmare 4, which is super awesome. Really pleased with that. Yeah, how long have I been logging into this badass game for? How do I find that again? There it is, daily sign-in. So I am on day 132. Still loving this game. I guess my progression has slowed. I am going to have a collab with Fastidious soon, and he's going to come in and try and right some of my wrongs. So really looking forward to that as well. Let's get into this then. Let's go through the different heroes that I use on a day-to-day basis to try and get myself out of trouble. And we've got to start with the rares, okay? Definitely in this game, rares are used way less frequently, okay? Their base stats are much lower. They don't have as much versatility as some other games, but there are a few which are still really important. For example, Decimus. Now, I won't say he's a ride or die in terms of I bring him out in tons of content, but he was the reason I was able to get to Gear A 221, or one of the reasons, because of his ability to just not be dead. Where is it in his kits? Yeah, Defiance. When HP drops to 0, remains alive, continues to fight for 8 seconds. Super long, actually, if you're getting booked out, and it's really easy to book out rares. So he's the reason. He just stays up. He's like, I'm not going to die, and he keeps going. So he is someone I've used a fair amount. And then I've got to call it out. Na'Vi is actually super useful. In fact, she's in that same squad for Gear A 2 for me, but I used her a ton early on for basically cost regen. Okay, so she has got a restores 8 cost in her ult. So sometimes you can literally put her down for a really low cost. She's got a cost of 10. You put her down, you get an ult away, and then you take her off the board, and you've earned more cost than you started with. Or if you can leave her on the board for a couple of ults, then you've earned a ton more cost than you used to put her down. Cool thing with this is you don't need to level either of those two rare champions up. You just need to make sure that they've got some stats if they're going to be in the firing line. But you can see here, my two, not even got their promotions up, not wearing big gear or anything like that. They're just in there because of some of their skills. Right then, let's talk epics. And I've got to say, there's tons of good epics in this game. There's tons of good epics. Idril has got to be up there in a ride or die. She comes into my arena team. She's in my Gear A 3 team. I use her a fair bit in Void Rift and stuff as well. She just is exceptional as a marksman, considering she is an epic hero. The main thing here is her ult. So when her ult goes off, and if you pair her with someone else I'm going to call out in a minute, I mean, damn, she's just firing all over the map. She doesn't care where someone is. She's taking them down. If you're lucky enough to get her awakening up to level 5, you can also get an extremely long duration on this ult. And she's just picking enemies off. She's getting additional duration on that ult per kill. And it becomes obscene. She's just taking stuff down all over the map. So yeah, Idril for me, really solid. I think I've got Idril's gaze on, yeah. So really good epic champion. I use her in a ton of content, but not as much as I use this guy. Oh my god, for an epic, Raph is just so damn good. So he's the freebie, right? He's the guy that you get along the way. You get skill ups for him. I would definitely recommend using the additional skill ups that you get for epics on this dude. Certainly should only really use those on lords anyway, because you eventually will get more copies of other epics along the way. Through summons, you get quite a good, healthy amount of epics. But this guy is just obscenely good. So firstly, he's a Lord of Nightmare. And Nightmare champions are you just seem to get quite a lot. You just seem to get quite a lot. Abomination is Nightmare as well. And he is another one of the ones that you confuse. The Nightmare faction get a really nice passive. The more units you put down, the more speed that they get. Even if you just rip them straight off the board again. So as long as you put them down and then just rip them back up again, you get their benefit. So you can get up to 35% more attack speed for that. This guy, this does good damage. He's a fighter. who pretty much doubles as a tank. I see a lot of people at higher end arena use this guy as like the fighter tank because he gets self-healing once you get his awakenings up. And especially once you get to level 5, you start to restore health. At that point, this guy becomes obscenely good. And I use him all over the place. Literally use him all over the map. So yeah, he's really, really strong. Okay, couple more then. So I said I pair Idril with someone, and it is this chick right here, Dolores. Dolores is, I mean, potentially up there as one of the best champions in the game. One of the best heroes that you could get because you use her in so many places. Guild boss, most gear raids, Void Rift, Arena. Like, she's used everywhere. Literally everywhere. And it's mainly because of her ult. So it's a cheap ult at 900. She gets 400 straight away. She gives 40% inspiration when booked for 22 seconds. So inspiration is boosting the attack of people around her. Basically, what you're doing is you're giving everyone a massive damage buff. And it is massive. You know, if you compare her to other legendaries in the game that have got inspiration, hers just straight up stronger. The rest of her kit is actually not that great. You know, she doesn't do a lot else. She does a bit of healing, but it's not a lot. Yeah, she doesn't do a lot else. So you kind of want to gear her up with invigoration gear. I've only just recently got mine. And she's also going to boost someone else's attack naturally when you put her down. And then you just ult in as much as you can. Or at key moments, yeah, just before that guild boss shield, ult with Dolores, ult with everyone else. They blow the shield up. In the arena, if you've got the big fat dudes you're trying to take down, Dolores ult, someone comes in like a hex, smashes them down, and they die super fast. So, yeah, really, really good. Okay, another one in the Epic group then that I need to call out here is Hollow. Hollow's really, really cool. So I built mine super high attack speed, low attack. And, you know, this was a really high rage regen, really good tip that I saw on a video. I can never remember the dude's name. Something like Destined, I think. Destined, I think it is. Really good content creator, actually. Pretty sure that's what it is. I'll check out and I'll pin it down below. But yeah, Hollow, super good. So she's giving your team rage. She's increasing their rage. It's in her ult. So when triggered, increases her multiplier. It's when she gets higher awakening, sorry. Each cast of Light of Bliss increases the efficiency of accumulating rage by 15%. Yeah, so basically what she's doing is she's topping up all ally in range rage, which is just super strong. Everyone else is getting their ults quicker. Plus, she's actually not a bad healer, especially if you go high attack speed, low attack, because she's an attack-based healer. You can actually just do a lot of spot heals, just a lot of small heals. And then the more she's doing, the faster she gets her ult back herself. So she's a really, really great healer. But the rage regen for everyone else is why she's so strong. If we're talking just straight out healing needed for my team, and I'm looking at EPICS, then I've used Vortex a ton. I still use him a ton. Mainly now in Void Rift, honestly. Early days, I used him in my Guild Boss team. I used him in almost every team. Now it's more in Void Rift if I'm just wanting a good healer with a crazy, crazy range. He's got this wide heal. There's not that many in the game that have got a heal this big. So he can cover a ton of units. Just beat Void Rift hard this week. Full auto all the way. He's in a bunch of the teams to do that. So yeah, high HP is pretty much the thing. Also, he's quite cheap to put down. So I use him an absolute ton. Okay, carrying on with the epics then. Do I need to say any more? I mean, this guy's a unit. He gets out ahead of a lot of legendary tanks. Probably one of the best tanks in the game. And the thing with him is you don't even need to really book him out because you don't even want to use his ult. It's just his passive that creates this massive shield. So you go high HP, he creates a massive shield on his passive, and he just sits there and soaks it all up. I think I've got the... Oh, man, I've got a terrible one on. I should have put the additional block. Increases block by 1. This is what I want. Yeah, so this is what I should have on him. Just block more units because you never die. It's just super, super good. You get him as a freebie for doing the Void Rift at the start, or once you get to Void Rift, you get him as a freebie. I've got mine to Awakening 3. I don't know if I really gain a lot for going further, actually. More damage reduction, an enhancement on the ult, but I don't really use the ult ever. So I wonder if anyone does. Does anyone use the ult at all? But yeah, I always save those stones. As what I was saying earlier, these stones, I save them for lords, which is why this guy's not had a further awakening. But yeah, super good. As I say, I've just bumped his HP up with some defense, and then he just sits there and he tanks all day long. So yeah, Oleg, one of the best tanks in the game. The last one, which I'd say for me is a ride or die. Let's be clear. I use some of them. I use Vladov. Not at the moment. I ripped his gear off. I use Baron. Actually, Baron I should call out. In a similar way to Decimus that I spoke about in terms of the rare, I use Baron for the same job. Early on, I used Baron a lot. Now I use him as kind of like a gear raid 2 tank, mainly because of his ability to just soak damage. So he's got this ability to just put a massive shield on himself and stay alive. I guess I use him a bit in like the Faction Guardian stuff. But this passive here, to give him unyielding, again, same thing, 8 seconds. Does a little bit of damage at the end of that. I'm not really fussed about that. It's more about just being able to tank stuff up and not die. So yeah, Baron's in that same camp. Medan I use a bit. Maul I use a bit. Pyro I used a ton until I got Twin Fiend. So really, really strong. And the last one I do use a lot is Laurel. So again, cool thing about Laurel is you need to get her to promotion level 5. Increases rage regen by 1. Additionally, upon death, which also means if you just rip her off the board, provides surrounding allies with restoration of 50% of their rage. So the strat here in a ton of areas of the game is you put her down, you take her straight back off the board, and she gives everyone tons of rage. She's in that guild boss team that I showed you in this exact setup, 5-starred. With basically no gear. I need to change her to Invig gear really soon. Good attack speed. She is just a beast for giving you instant rage. Gear Raid 1, instant rage. Gear Raid 3, instant rage. Yeah, so if you want to do that kind of like Dolores with Idril combo, where you get the ults off straight away, you put her down, you pick her back up, and they're ulting like crazy. And then as soon as she's ready again, you put her down, you pick her back up, and off we go again. Laurel is super niche, but really cool. I use her actually in a lot of my teams. So that is going to be it for epics. As I say, there's a ton of good epics. Gluttony, really good epic. I'm going to build him out and do a video on him soon. Yeah, there's a ton. There's a ton of good ones, but they're the ones that I use the most. So let's talk legendaries then. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's obviously, there's really, really strong legendaries. Zetram I got really early, and I use him an absolute ton. He's in my guild boss team. He's in my Void Rift teams. I use him in some arena. Actually, less so now because his ult is quite costly to get back. But it does an obscene amount of damage. In the Void Rift against Lasir, if you're trying to just take him down super early, you get the ult off, and he just absolutely slays enemies like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, really, really cool damage dealer. Single target damage dealer. When we're talking about guild boss, if you want someone to break that shield, he does even more damage against a shield. So it just becomes obscene. Yeah, it becomes absolutely obscene. I've got mine over crit at the minute because you do build crit as you go. I need to change my gearing, honestly. But yeah, increase all damage against shielded targets by 15%. No, sorry. Increase all damage by 15%. Shielded targets, 50%. 5-0. So yeah, when the guild boss throws his shield up, you just absolutely eat through him. And then obviously at the other end, does a ton of damage as well. So yeah, really, really, really strong legendary champion. I use him a ton. Salazar, I've not had him that long, but I've had him long enough to fully hook him up. Like, his skills are maxed. He does tons of damage. He's viable in so much content. He is in my same guild boss team that does all of that damage, the 2-key Nightmare 4. But yeah, as a fighter, he just does obscene burst damage. Yeah, so if we look at his skill set, he's got this ult which does a blizz of 6 strikes, dealing obscene amounts of damage. He like flicks around, takes down anyone in his path. And again, quite a cheap ult to get out. He puts the bleed out, which just does good max HP damage against bosses. Yeah, really, really strong. Hex, possibly up there as my most used champion, my most used hero. Like, maybe Raph beats him a bit, but he's in so many of my teams. Guild boss, loads of arena stuff. Void Rift, he's in loads of teams. Working his way through campaign, he's one of the first on the sheets. Really, really strong. Recently got him to A1, which made him stronger. He's a bit of a weird champion in terms of what he does, but it's just single target damage. He's got magic type as well, which is strong. And he basically does control and obscene burst in terms of damage. Kame, this dude just does tons of AoE damage. Gear Raid 1, probably one of the main reasons I cleared it. Gear Raid 2 was in that team as well. The arena team, when you're trying to do AoE stuff, he's in the team. Gold farming, yeah, you know, like tons of areas. Just does a lot of AoE damage. I love the visual as well. Like the way he blows up a wave of enemies is absolutely obscenely good. So yeah, Kame, really, really strong. Zilla 2, one of my best pickups. So Zilla 2's got a cool passive ability. Which one is it? This one here. So when you are blocking a unit, as in you are face to face with a unit, everyone on your team does 20% more damage. It's an obscene buff, right? It's obscenely strong. So in my earlier guild boss teams, she was there front and center, basically boosting everyone's damage. I actually find now I'd step her back because I want the Laurel ult buff on her, which gives me more damage that way. But needless to say, her attack range is just really big for a fighter. So you can put her either behind tanks and she does a load, or you can put her up front and she gives everyone that extra damage boost. She doesn't want to be your tank, really. She doesn't heal. She's not like a Wrath. So you have to kind of like be careful the way you're going to put her down. But let's say on the artifact material raid, if you have your tank tanking up the boss, but then she's standing right next to the boss, everyone's doing more damage. It's really, really cool. She brings burst damage, she brings burning, and she's one of the best like normal legendary heroes in the game. I guess early on, Abomination was in nearly every team. He's still really good. I use him a ton in like Void Rift and stuff like that. Don't use him as much because I don't use the Nightmare faction as much. But early on, he was a ride or die, was in every team. Still comes out, still plays a lot in my teams. But yeah, probably dropped down the list a bit for me. Valkyra, really, really cool legendary champion that I picked up. You notice quite a lot of these are fighters, actually. Fighters are so strong in this game. So Valkyra has got this cool ability to revive someone if they go down. So if a tank's gone down in front of her, she can pick that tank back up. Also, if someone like an Aatrox goes down, puts that burning pit on the floor, she can pick him back up to do another one. She was one of the ways that I beat Gear Raid 1. She's also like pivotal in me beating Void Rift hard. Like probably the most important hero on the roster for me to be able to beat Torador. You know, I guess he's still Torador. Anyway, whoever the burning dude is that slays everyone, she's one of the big reasons that we're able to get that done. Couple more to call out then. Hatsu, obscene damage, marksman, burst damage everyone around her. Really, really cool. One of the best cutscenes in the game as well. Super exciting when you pick up a cutscene type hero. But yeah, tons of damage. Most of these, you notice I'm not like fully skilled. Many of them, I tend to try and fully skill ults and then move on. Unless it's someone who is like really pivotal everywhere in the game. But and I guess, I mean, she is honestly. But you only get so many crystals, right? You only get so many. Anyway, Hatsu in the arena. Hatsu in Gear Raid 3. Use her a fair bit in Void Rift as well. Just really, really strong hero. Probably two more to call out. So, Brocky, I remember I pulled Brocky and I was like, oh man, I've got this dwarf tank dude. What's this? Turns out, basically best tank in the game. He's obscenely strong. Like, basically, if he's about to die, he just gets this mammoth shield. He turns himself into an ice block and he's like, kill me again. It's just obscenely good. Yeah, obscenely good. Like, he's probably one of the main reasons that I got through the Void Rift on hard. You know, it's like you got to kill the dude twice. And obviously, when he's in the ice block, he gets a big shield on. You could still heal under the shield to get his HP back up. So you then got to kill him again. So yeah, he's just obscenely strong. Really, really good tank unit. We need to call out Volker here. So Volker is really good for a number of reasons. Not necessarily what she actually does on the board, which isn't bad. But there's a couple of things in her kit which just make her really good. So this here, Each basic attack launched by a hero restores by the hero restores HP. Each basic attack by allies also restores HP. Now, what you're doing is you're giving your whole team a bit of life steal, and it's actually really, really strong. Sometimes it can be the difference between you needing to bring 1 or 2 healers. Just having her in the squad. So that's really, really strong. Certainly for artifact material raid, pop her down. Everyone starts healing up. You know, the people that are dealing with the side ads have got a better chance of staying alive. Really, really good. She also makes everyone come back onto the board quicker. 25% less time to get people back on the board. And you get an Awakening 1 for when you pass certain level of gear raid. So often she's in my squad for this. Certainly if I'm doing one of those Laurel type strats where we're picking her up, putting her off the board, all that type of stuff, she comes in for that. And she's in a lot of my teams without necessarily getting on the pitch. So Volker, don't underestimate how strong that Awakening is. Yeah, so last one then I'm going to call out for my ride or dies is Twin Fiend. Again, goes on to a lot of my teams. He's in my my Guild Boss team. He's in a lot of the Void Rift stuff. He's in some arena teams. He's all about burst damage. He's one of the best. Well, he's a great lord. I don't know if he's one of the best lords. He's definitely a great lord in the team. Burst damage, like his ability when he gets an ult away, and it comes back really quick. 500 cost. He basically focus fires, gets everyone else in his faction to just help him nuke, and then he unleashes an absolute, like, a full detonation, and it will just take down someone. It's really, really strong. So, yeah, don't sleep on this dude. Pyro similar, honestly. Pyro as the epic is similar to this dude, but Twin Fiend is just obscenely strong. Really, really good. There's actually someone, I just thought of someone that I haven't called out. Yes, someone that I haven't called out that I should do. Again, for the Lord bonus, I've got the legendary version, Luneria. So her, or if you've got Aracha, who I have got, the Lord bonus of these two is just so good. So again, similar to Volker, they're not the best champions in the game to put on the board. They're good, they're not bad, but they're not the best. But it is the Lord bonus, which is so good. So increases factions, allies, basic attributes, yeah, whatever. Attack ranges are increased. So faction allies attack ranges are increased. This is so insanely strong. For her in particular, even better because you get more damage the further you are away from the enemy. So her with Hex, insane. Her with Idril, insane. But similarly with Luneria, you get that same, it's not quite the same strength. You don't get the extra damage, but still you get the ability to hit further away, which for a lot of content becomes so strong. Imagine, you know, the range of your units compared to the tile you put them on is a major, major part of this game. So to be able to just enhance it by 1, just for having them in the squad, is actually insanely good. So yeah, don't sleep on this. But that's going to be it. That's my ride or dies. Let me know yours down below. If you've got 1 or 2 heroes that you absolutely love, they're in every team, call them out where they fit for you. But there you go, guys. Up in Hell Hades. I'll see you soon.